Hey guys, I'm getting more and more emails these days from my subscribers and from my followers on Seeking Alpha, linking me to certain aspects about stocks that they might invest in or certain trading strategies. And I want to use this video to address pretty much anyone who sends me stuff because I've found that a lot of people don't thoroughly vet their sources, and if they engage in these trading strategies or invest in certain stocks, they're going to find that things don't really work out. Now, one of the problems here is there's a aspect of trading called the survivorship bias. It's an aspect of pretty much all life. And what it says is everybody who's successful is successful for one of two ways, either skill or luck. And in trading, unfortunately, we have a lot of rich people who've decided to define themselves as trading gurus who got rich through luck. All right. Now, most people did not, especially if you're constantly trading. You're probably good. You probably have a good strategy. But some people have become rich just based on luck, and what happens is they end up writing a book or end up writing an article on their trading strategies, and when you do a back test on their strategies, they simply don't work. For example, recently someone sent me an article on how stocks with high price to earnings, stocks with high price to earnings being great investments, but statistically you'll find it's the opposite. Those with high PDE ratios tend to be the more risky stocks because they have more downside than upside. All right, so that's one aspect, but what I want to show you guys is how to vet your sources, and more importantly, what I want to show you guys is an example of how to figure out if a source is bullshit. So I've pulled one up here. It's unrelated to trading, but here we are. We're at Bustle, and I came across this the other day, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. So here's what the article says. Women don't want to date men with blonde hair, says new survey. All right, and it's written by a blogger. I don't know who she is, but what you can do is you can always check on the author's page and figure out if the person has some sort of expertise in what he or she is talking about. All right, so this is a writer, just a writer. All right, that doesn't mean she's not. It doesn't mean you shouldn't trust her, but you should vet her sources because she doesn't have any form of expertise in this aspect, right? Also, she has a tattoo, so I don't trust her. All right, so here's what she says in the article. Women prefer men with brown hair. All right, and she cites a recent study. So let's follow up with that. The real way to vet your sources is just follow up with all of the links, and what you'll find usually is that most of these websites are not referencing real studies. And what you're going to find is a website referencing another website. And I think that's what we find in this case. So if we click on this link, we move from Bustle, which is just a blog, to another blog called Glamour. So that's not really a study, is it? See, a recent study, and she links to a website. So that doesn't really work. All right, study suggests women more attractive than men with brown eyes. Is that the same thing? Okay, this girl says women don't want to date men with blonde hair. So already we're on a different topic. Okay, now let's again follow up with it by going through the details of following the hyperlink. So a new study at the Owl, and then another one. Read about the study here. All right, we're going to go to the first one, and then we'll follow up with the second one later. So again, we've got a blog linking to another blog, the Owl. Why you lust for brown-eyed men. All right, and is this a link to the study? So here we go. Let's check it out. That, my friends, is science, so it must be science, right? No, actually, it's still another blog called livescience.com. So already we are 3 layers deep from the claim that women don't want to date men with blonde hair. We're finally on a science blog. It's not a study, but it's a science blog. And it says studies of dominant looking men reveal surprising results. So we've moved from blonde hair being bad to something about Czech researchers looking at the faces of brown eyes. All right, let's see if we can get to that study. I'm looking at all the hyperlinks here, and all of these are links back to the original blog of Live Science. So if you check it out, this link goes to livescience.com, so does this one. This one also goes to livescience.com, this one goes to livescience.com, this one goes to livescience.com. None of them go to a scientific study. So what we have is a woman making a bold claim that links to another person's blog, that links to another person's blog, that links to a science blog, that links to itself. So indeed, we don't have the actual study being linked. Now, what can we do? Well, if we're really interested in whether this is true and whether that study makes that claim, what we could do is look through the article and find the researchers' names. And then we would want to just Google that. So let's see, here's the name. Carol Kleisner, Charles University, Prague. So most researchers will have their reports or studies available on their personal website, and you can usually download it from there. Let's see, so here's the dude. He's got a lot of studies. This was published in 2010, so we're going to go down to his 2010 studies and see if we can find something related to brown hair. Eye color, maybe this is what they're talking about. Eye color predicts but does not directly influence perceived dominance in men. Alright, so here's the article. The study focused on the relationship between eye color, gender, and psychological characteristics in the human face. We looked at dominance and attractiveness. Attractiveness showed no relation to eye color, so that kind of disputes, well, she's not even talking about eye color, but disputes the claim right there. Eye color had a significant effect on dominance in males. Brown eye color is more dominant, and that's all the study says. And she says women don't want to date men with blonde hair. So, welcome to 2016, where anybody can have a blog and anybody can write whatever they want and then post links to other blogs that are doing the same thing that you do, which is sensationalize something that's quite peripheral from a scientific study. Now, obviously, we're talking about some sort of psychological aspect here, but we want to speak of trading, and it's the same with trading. You go to any trading blog or website or forum, and you're going to find the same type of stuff where they say, this trading strategy works in the long run, here's some evidence. It usually points to a book that's written by a trader that might have gotten lucky, that might actually be correct, but you really want to dig in to the scientific research. You want to end up at a source that looks like this. The source should have a journal's name at the top. It should be written by someone with a PhD in most cases. Or it should have a back test. In trading, back tests can replace a PhD because a back test shows you that it actually works on a set of data. So that's what you want to do. You never want to use a website or a blog's conclusion as a trading strategy. That's just going to help you lose money. So if your goal is not to lose money, what you're going to want to do is follow up with any claim that interests you by looking to find if there's a study that supports that claim. And here's how you do it. Just go to Google and you type in whatever the claim is, alright? So, how about this? High PE stocks, alright? And we want to learn about high PE stocks, but we want to learn about studies. We want to learn from the studies that reference high PE stocks. So all you have to do is, remember, we're going to end up, all studies are published like this. They're all published as PDF files. So what we're going to want to look for is PDF files. So we type file type, PDF, and we want scientific studies, not PDF files written by businesses. So what we're going to do is we're going to do cite, and then *.edu. And that'll give us all the university sites that have published a PDF on high PE stocks. And what we could do is we could just read the title to figure out whether this is going to be something worth reading. This stock is so cheap, the low price earnings story, and this probably talks about it. It says annual returns, something annual returns, then high PE stocks. Click on that, you got your study right there. So we've basically just scoured Google for the, well, this is a book. So you'd want to actually vet the author of this book. Remember, if it's a journal, you're going to see at the top the name of the journal. So that's usually what we're looking for. This is a book, but it might have references, it might source the claims that it makes. That's what we want to look for. So you really got two options. Either vet your sources and make sure there's some sort of scientific basis for what these sources are saying, or run your own back test. That requires some coding, but it's well worth it if you put in the time and effort to learn how to code. Alright, that's it for now. Don't send me any articles unless you have already vetted it and figured out that it's actually based on science. Thank you.